Just wanted to make a brief video on this band. I stayed up. I mean, this took forever yesterday. It's my first time doing this. I've been making watch bands lately. I've been making just, NATO straps, practicing the saddle stitching in short form, we'll say. And I made a prototype of this band, which is right here. I just did a patless. This is what you'd call a Zulu style strap. And, I figured out how to make these keepers. I did it on another strap first, which is right here. And when I did this, you size your leather, and I did 2 little stitches on this, just a single pass through with a knot, and it felt weak to me. Also, I learned that it's better if the keeper is closer to the buckle, at least for this in particular, because it's a single piece of leather. So if it's too far away, kind of like what I did here, the skinny piece falls out easier. So I had to take this apart and redo it. And so I tried to keep it as close as I could on this one. And then I just cut the slots in this. And you saw that. I think I might have pictures of this to put into this video. I'll include a couple snapshots in this video here. So the idea here was I wore the watch like this on the wrist for several days. I wore it out to the desert to visit with Wonder Hussy and all that. I wanted to make sure the proportions were correct on my wrist before putting the time into this. It took a long time to do this yesterday. It's my first time, like I said, attempting this. The idea, what you're seeing here is I stitched the straps directly to the bund. If I had rivets, I think it would have been cooler. I don't know if I'd say cooler, because I really like what I did here with the Z, being Mike Z. It's totally personalized. I was going to make an M on the other side. I'm going to take it off and show you the details in a moment. But the idea here is if a spring bar goes, you don't lose the watch. You don't lose the strap. It'll flap around, but the other spring bar will hold it in place. That's what I like about it. I'm going to do other versions of this where I put rivets in here. It's a lot faster. It'll be a lot faster because this took forever. It took forever just to get the watch to work, as you know. And maybe I don't know if I still have that video on the phone. If I do, well, no, I'll just link it. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I did a video where I machined this case to get leather in there, because it came with a metal bracelet, and the bracelet fits so precisely there wasn't enough room between the spring bar and the case for anything, a NATO strap at all. Certainly not the leather. So it's already getting loose, by the way. I wore it all night last night. I'm wearing it now. I'm going to wear it all day today. This is my new thing. It's a 50 millimeter watch case by Aragon. And the problem with the watch and all the Aragon watches for me, I've got a 7 5/8 inch wrist, which is not small, but with a bracelet, this thing would just constantly slide down your wrist and hit the top of your hand. You couldn't wear it. It was very uncomfortable. So I wanted the leather cuff here, because I knew that even if it does slide down, the leather on the top of my wrist is far more comfortable than that crown digging into it. Plus, I suspected, and it's true, it does lock better in place on the wrist in a more comfortable manner. With a bracelet, you have to adjust it so tight that it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable if you wear it comfortable. It's loose enough to where it slides down. So, to me, and look how tough this is, man. Very tough, very manly, very butch. So you can see how I sewed completely through that. I might, see how I stitched this here? I may do that here as well. Run some stitching along here, maybe make a square of stitching here, and go through the bund as well. You can see where I made my mistakes. I took this off twice, at least twice. I had to cut through the stitching, and it's still not perfect. And after you do it the first time, it's already not perfect. You can see the holes here. They're not super noticeable when you're wearing it. I never see it because it's on the other side. But I don't care. This is my first time. I'm only going to get better. When you think that this is the first time I've ever made a double piece bund here, and that stitching came out pretty good, I had enough thread to do this. I'll tell you though, as you're poking the needles through, it starts getting frayed where the thread goes through the needle. And what happened was it eventually broke apart on me. So I had to start again. So I ended up gluing it somewhere in here. Oh, right there probably, right? And then I started stitching again, and it's going to be okay. That happened on here as well when I did this. I also made it too long, so I had to come back and add stitching here and then cut the band off and trim it. I didn't do the best job, but it's for me. Even the holes, I just eyeballed them this time. It's good enough, though. Again, it's my band. But I'll tell you, I have an idea that I think what I want to do is find watches at a good price. You know, well under $100, maybe some vintage watches that are really neat looking. There's some old Timex automatics. I like the diver on the Bund. I think it looks tough. And I think what I'll do for fun is I'll make Bund straps with a watch on it and try to get a premium price. It won't be junk watches. The watches will be worth money. And these straps, I mean, this takes, you know, it takes almost a day to make this thing. You know, you could probably make 2 of these in a day if you're streamlining. You know, if you're like Henry Ford, you make a bunch of parts, you glue up a bunch of parts, I'm sitting there and you sit there saddle stitching all night. But I'll tell you, it does take a lot of time to do the stitching. I will obviously get better at that. But I'm pleased with this. I think it looks cool. It might not be your thing. It's an ironic thing, right? You already have a 50 millimeter watch case and you think to yourself, oh my God, you're going to put it on a Bund too? It's going to be even bigger. But it works. It works. So I get this on here. I just want to also point out that this buckle came off of a dog collar that I got at the 99-cent store. It was the exact width to match the 24 millimeter lug here. You know, a lot of people will do it wider here. They'll taper it here. But in this case, it just makes sense to keep it as wide and thick and heavy duty as possible. Look, that stitch is off there. I don't know what I did there. That's funny. So let me put this on. All right. Now I've had this on. I wore it all night. I put it on snug, and it's already given me a little bit of play now. So that's good. I may have to put another hole in and make it a little tighter, which will make me happier here. I mean, that pokes through out the keeper, but if it comes through a little bit more, it'd be okay. Yeah, this is basically custom for me. When you buy a Bund strap, they have to be designed differently because they don't know what your watch size is, you know, the outside height width here to fit correctly. So the Bund straps are designed so you can remove them from the Bund and size it appropriately. But if you're going to do custom like this and you're going to make the strap just for the watch, that's it. This watch is living on this band now. It's never going to go back on the bracelet. Why would you? Look how cool that is. I know it's not for everyone, but I'm going to be doing this all the time. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll come up with a system. I mean, there's a lot of different ideas out there on how to do this and make them for sale, and I could do that. My next big project with the leather work is going to be a wallet based on my own design. I'm going to show that to you real fast. Okay, so I designed this wallet. I looked at trucker wallets for years, and I bought many of them. I used them, and I wore them out, and I never liked the design on any of them. So I found a leather worker out of Texas, M.K. Holloway, I believe it is. It says it right here. Nice lady. She did all this hand tooling. She had a stamp made of my logo and impressed it here and hand painted it. When I got this wallet, it was, you know, pretty nice. The only thing I didn't like about it when I first got it was I instantly noticed that this whole outside piece of leather is 2 pieces of thin leather glued together and stitched. And it's machine stitched. And you can see that it's been just wearing out here. Now, I've probably had this wallet for, I don't even know, 15 years or more. So it's held up pretty good. But when I do it, it's going to be a nice thick piece of like a veg tanned out here. So the key to this design, I was riding motorcycles at the time I had this made. So, yeah, this could be 20 years old, this wallet. So I've got two pouches here. One's supposed to be for business cards, one's supposed to be for your plastic, driver's license, that sort of thing. And they are oriented this way, so when the flap goes over, nothing can fall out. Most of these wallets that you find, there's slots going this way, and everything can fall out of your wallet. I've got a change purse pocket here, and I've got this strap here, so I can keep extra keys. I do. There's a key over here, something to clean my teeth. This is for a knife. Got my mustache comb. The pocket knife doesn't fit in there, but on the new version it will. And then there's change in here. And then there is a small pocket here for your registration, paperwork stuff that you want to carry around. And then there's the money pocket, right? Very simple. Very simple. Hang on one second. At the swap meet a couple weeks ago, I picked up a bunch of these old YKK zippers. I don't think any of these are really the right length. I think this white one here is pretty close. And this one here is a little bit short, but that's okay. I think the shorter one might be smarter. And it is black. Black is beautiful. And I got a bunch of, I went through this guy's giant box and bought every YKK hat. YKK is a decent quality zipper. These are all brass zippers. And I'm going to make more stuff, so I figured for all these things, I think it cost me $4. There's more of them, too. I don't think this is all of them. So I bought all the ones that seemed appropriate for me to knock that out. So visually, I understand how this thing is constructed, so it shouldn't be difficult. I mean, I just pulled this off, right? I mean, if I could do this, I can do this. So I have to get some snaps and play with it. Now, this is going to be a product I think I will make to sell when I'm done. I'll have my logo burned into it somewhere, and maybe I'll get into tooling. I did it as a kid. It's not, I mean, none of this is brain surgery, by the way. As I said, my first time doing this. I just sat up yesterday afternoon and just did this. I just made it happen. I know the stitching's not perfect, but again, I'm learning. And it's only going to get better. You know, you don't get worse at something. It's like punk rock. You know, eventually, all those punk rockers became pretty decent musicians because they played all the time. But at first, it was all garbage. But awesome. We love it bad, right? So, yeah, I'm going to make one of these for myself. And it's funny, I didn't think about doing this to make any money off of it. I did it because I want to make my own stuff instead of depending on other people. All right, that's what you do. And now that I'm doing it, and I started looking at what people get for this stuff, this wallet cost me $250, $275 20 years ago. So, yeah, you know, I think that if I make the Mike Z Design wallet with the features that you are seeing in front of you, I think I can get several $100s for one. Custom. I clearly wouldn't be making them. I'm not going into production on this, but hey, to augment your income with something like that, why wouldn't you? You know, if somebody wanted to send me a watch and have me make them a band like this, yeah, I would do that. All right, if the number's right, why wouldn't I do that? This is the sort of thing I've been looking for, something I can do in my apartment that doesn't make a bunch of noise. Most of the stuff that I do for a living, it's in a big shop with power tools and everything else, and I can't do that in my apartment. But this, I could do this into the wee hours. And it's fun. And it's the best part about it is the end result. Just looking at this, and it's pleasing. And I mentioned the rivets on here, but what I like about this vibe here is it kind of has like a Western thing with the Z. It's reminiscent of the idea of branding, right? Got a Roy Rogers vibe or something going on here. That stitch I pulled too tight. You see that? It's there. I just pulled it into the leather too tight. So I'll learn, right? So, as I said, I keep saying I'm only going to get better at this. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this. This is the beginning of my leather journey. Maybe that'll be kind of what the title will be. And come back often for this. If you're interested, ask. I did burnish this with, I put the token all on here. and I use the edge of the handle, the wood handle of my beveler. I need another beveler. It's a little bit larger, and I need to practice with this a little bit more. I'm actually pointing out all the negatives, right? Which is something my clients tell me all the time. Like, don't tell me that. I rarely screw things up, and even the stuff that I point out to people are like, I wouldn't have noticed that if you didn't tell me. And it's not a screw up. It's just me feeling like I could have done better, and I don't necessarily need to always share that information. But I'm an honest person. By the way, Aragon, good company. This guy Wing, he makes these watches. It seems like he started off with these giant watches, but he's now making watches from 42 millimeters, 43 millimeters, 44 millimeters, 45 millimeters. So if you have a smaller wrist or just a giant watch isn't for you, there are options. And if you go to the Aragon website, the sales are amazing. It's amazing compared to what these things go for when they first come out. I'm thinking about buying a GMT on there right now for $149 because it's a 42 millimeter, and it's just super cool. Anyhow, we'll sign out with the helicopter noise up above, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.